This must be the place. Professor Oubier's house.
Looks pretty creepy. I'd been away from Paris and hadn't seen Nico for nearly 6 months. I wanted to celebrate our reunion, but she had other plans. An appointment with an archaeologist. Something to do with a Mayan stone she came across while researching a story. The guy who answered the door didn't look much like an archaeologist to me. I had a bad feeling about this. I glanced over the books, vaguely hoping to find a copy of How to Deal with Poisonous Spiders While Tied to a Chair. No such luck. But I noticed one corner of the bookcase was supported by a loose block of wood. Maybe I'd been a little heavy-handed, but it was a question of survival. Of course, I was still tied to a chair in a burning house with no means of escape. With one mighty bound, our hero was free. Now, I had to deal with that fire. I wasn't touching that spider goo. The rope was shredded and no possible use to me. I had no time to sit around. The projecting bracket had served its purpose. There was nothing else I could do with it. The bookcase had fallen on its front, making it impossible to reach the books inside. Nice couple. In the drawer was a small decorated pot. Inside, I found a bottle of tequila. Normally, I didn't drink strong spirits, but today was far from normal.
Ew.
Disgusting. Not only did the tequila burn like hell, I just managed to stop myself from swallowing the worm. There was something short, fleshy, and gross on the carpet. It was the worm from the bottle of tequila. That dart was sharper than a mosquito's business end, but this didn't deter me from getting it anyway. It was a stylish little canvas number containing a lipstick, a handwritten note, and a pair of nylon panties with a large love heart emblazoned across the front. It occurred to me that Nico's tastes must have really changed while I was away. Well, they could be useful. I wasn't going to get through those sturdy bars. I wasn't going to touch the box after that spider had been inside it. There was no pressure in the siphon. I guess it was out of gas. The door blocked my only means of escape. The cabinet was locked. It was the poisoned dart which had stunned Nico. I'd never known anything keep her quiet so effectively. It was that itsy-bitsy tequila worm. I really must remember to take it out of my pants before I send them to the laundry. It was Nico's lipstick. It wasn't my color, and it reminded me of clowns. I guess I had no business reading the note, but I figured it might give me a clue to what Nico was involved in. It was from André Lobineau, the history student Nico had known at college. The letter was sentimental mush, and revealed that the exotic lingerie, as he called it, was a gift from him. It gave his telephone number. Lobineau figured himself as a rival for Nico's affections, but I couldn't believe that that creep was in the running. The pot contained a key. The red and yellow pot had black decorative markings shaped like hands. Weird mutant hands, that is. It was a pair of red, lace-trimmed panties decorated with a large black satin heart. It looked like a house key. As I released the lock, something blew the doors open. The cabinet was already open. That cylinder was hot. I couldn't pick it up with my bare hands. The panties I'd found in Nico's bag were just what I needed to wrap around the hot cylinder. It was a small metal cylinder with a valve at one end. The cylinder gave out a faint hiss as the valve opened. Now I had one primed up and ready to use extinguisher. With a well-aimed squirt of his soda fountain, our unshakable hero saved the day. Now it was time to start looking for Nico. I wasn't going to burn myself on that red-hot doorknob, and it wasn't the time for subtlety. I'd found a piece of newspaper folded in two. It referred to a forthcoming eclipse of the sun. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be visible from Europe. The best place to view the eclipse would be Mexico. It was the newspaper clipping referring to the imminent eclipse. Wrapped inside it was another small piece of paper. It was a bank statement for Ubier's account from an automatic telling machine. The last 5 withdrawals were for large amounts, and all made in Marseille. Much as I disliked him, Lobineau might be my only hope of finding Nico. Hi, Andre?
Who is this?
It's George Stobart. Nico's boyfriend?
Don't you mean ex-boyfriend?
Look, I didn't call you just to pick a fight. I need to talk to you about Nico.
Can't you accept she's just not interested in you?
Listen, Andre, we need to talk. Nico's life depends on it.
Okay. You remember the cafe at Montfaucon?
Sure. Andre? You'd better show, you creep. I felt an irrational urge to wipe my ear. It was locked. The door was locked. I didn't fancy my chances of kicking this door down. I unlocked the door. I wasn't looking forward to meeting Labano again, but he was my only link with Nico. There was no sign of Labano when I got to the cafe. I decided to order a coffee and wait for him. Pardon me, but don't I know you?
Huh?
You were here the day I found the catacombs.
I was? Ah, yes. I remember you.
Yeah. Are you still in the police force?
No, not anymore. I'm a man of leisure. And what brings you back to Paris?
My girlfriend.
What it is to be young and in love. Will you share a bottle of wine with me?
Hey, listen, I'd love to, but I need to keep a clear head.
So my company isn't good enough for you.
Have you ever heard of a Professor Oubier?
No, monsieur. I don't recall the name.
Well, apparently he's an expert on Mayan art and history.
A little out of my field of experience, monsieur. If he'd been a serial killer or a sodomite, I might have been able to help.
Why did you leave the police?
I was forced to retire. The golden handshake. Only in my case, it was more copper than gold.
How come?
I was made a scapegoat to cover up the department's inefficiencies.
What do you make of this dart?
I remember a case where the victim was killed with just such a device. The poison acted in seconds, causing his body to swell up like an inflatable life raft.
What do you make of this news cutting?
Orphanage supplied fast food chain?
No, it's the article above that.
Oh! Total eclipse of the sun. Well, that's very dull in comparison. I don't know anything about eclipses.
Tell me what you make of this note.
From my years of experience, I gained a pretty good insight into handwriting. I'd say that note was written by a compulsive, obsessive type with an Oedipus complex.
Hey, you got just about everything apart from the ponytail. I couldn't snatch the man's flask while he was looking. Oh, garçon. He ignored me. I'm sure it was deliberate. What's that you're drinking?
It's wine.
I had nothing else I wanted to ask the gendarme. The man was still looking. Hey, you!
Quoi?
I'd like a cup of coffee if you don't mind.
When I finish serving this gentleman. Un café.
Thanks. What does that guy keep pouring out of his flask?
Absinthe.
Absinthe? I thought that was highly dangerous and outlawed in France.
It is. Don't look at me, I didn't sell it to him.
Do you know a guy called André Lobineau?
Oui, I know him. What of it?
I'm supposed to meet him here. Did I miss him?
No, I have not seen him today.
Have you heard of Professor Oubier?
Oui. He married that actress, the little dachshund. They used to come here. The nutty professor and the movie star.
If Oubier's wife was a movie star, how come I never heard of her?
She was big in France. The world doesn't stop at Hollywood. Her stage name was Carol Climax. She died in suspicious circumstances.
How did Oubier's wife die?
I heard he shot her.
And got away with it?
He had a good lawyer and a watertight alibi.
Why would an eminent public figure like Oubier risk everything for murder?
He wouldn't be the first, would he? Besides, people like him always get off.
Do you know that man over there?
I should think so. He's a regular customer.
Look at this. A poison dart.
Ah oui, sure.
It's the real thing. Knocked my girlfriend out cold in a matter of seconds.
Romantic. Sounds like a real close relationship you have going.
That's all.
Thank you.
Well, this is a surprise, Georgie.
I wouldn't normally call you, but Nico's in trouble, Andre. Deep trouble. You have to help me find her.
What? What have you dragged her into this time?
It was you that recommended Professor Oubier as an expert on Mayan art. Now his butler has kidnapped her, and he tried to kill me.
Every time she gets involved with you, there is trouble. Walking out on her was the best thing you could do.
My father was dying, damn it. I had no choice.
Well, she soon recovered once she went back to her old friends.
Drop it, Andre. Right now, Nico's in danger, and we have to work together.
So, how can I help?
Nico needed to speak to Oubier about a stone.
Oh, you mean this stone?
So that's what all the trouble's about.
Precisely. Nicole told me to guard it with my life.
Well, it's worth more than that, surely.
Oh, very funny.
What's funny is that your life really is on the line.
What are you talking about?
The stone is a Mayan artifact, dummy, and the guy who kidnapped Nico is from Central America. It was the stone they were after.
Oh my god, you mean I could be in danger too?
What do you suppose the carving on the stone means?
I don't know. I haven't shown it to anyone.
Why don't you just give it to me?
I don't want your death on my conscience, Georges.
Where did Nico get the stone?
I'm not sure I should tell you.
Oh, you should.
It was something to do with smuggling.
Why didn't Nico take the stone to Oubier?
I don't know. Perhaps she suspected something like this would happen.
If she's been hurt, Andre, I'll break every bone in your body.
No, that's typical of you. Do you think I don't care what happens to Nicole?
It occurred to me that slugs don't have bones to break, but I kept that thought to myself. Tell me about your friend Oubier.
He's more of a professional acquaintance than a friend.
I see. So you don't really know him at all?
No, I don't.
Does Ubier employ a guy from Central America?
Maybe. I don't know.
What do you think this is, Andre?
I don't know.
I'll give you a clue. It's got more backbone than you.
You think you're amusing, don't you?
What can you tell me about this pot?
South or Central American, I'd say. I have a friend who'd be able to tell you more.
Where can I find this guy?
He owns a gallery on the left bank. The Gliese Gallery.
Take a look at this, Andre.
It's a bank statement?
Yeah. Professor Ubier's account. 5 large cash withdrawals in the space of 3 days. All from an automatic teller in Marseille. Suspicious, isn't it?
You're even more crazy than you were before.
See you later.
Goodbye, Georgie.
I've had enough of your games, Kala. Tell me what you've done with my stone.
I thought your business was simply smuggling cocaine, Karzak. Why are you so interested in that stone?
Either you tell me what I want to know, or Pablo here will make you talk.
Okay. Well, I figured someone at the university would be able to help. So I had a word with one of my girlfriends, and she told me her boyfriend was a lecturer. I sent the stone to the Department of Ethnology. You know, I figured it was South American, so... You're not buying this, are you?
That's enough! I don't have time to listen to your mindless prattle. We'll leave you to think it over. Come the morning, you'll be ready to talk.
Do you miss being a gendarme?
Yes, of course I do. When I wore that uniform, I commanded respect. Not anymore.
Excuse me.
What?
Ever heard of Carol Climax, the movie star?
Yes, but I don't care for the kind of movie she's made. It's smut like that which has caused the moral decline of the Western world.
Is it true that Carol Climax was murdered by her husband?
First I heard of it. I thought she just retired.
I'm trying to find my girlfriend. She's been kidnapped.
Kidnapped?
Yeah, it was our first day back together after many months.
That's too bad. My God, that's depressing.
I grabbed the flask and was struck by a powerful smell of absinthe, a highly potent and illegal alcoholic drink. Excuse me.
What?
Didn't you try to appeal against your dismissal?
There was no point. It was my word against that of the chief inspector. And he was a close friend of the director of the museum I was supposed to be patrolling.
You need anything else?
There was nothing I wanted to say to him. I had no desire to go down into the sewers. It was too hot to sit inside the cafe. Now I had another lead. I could either go back to Ubier's house or visit the Glee's gallery. The Glee's gallery had style and class, but very few customers. The pots were protected by a glass case. The wasteland. Too minimalistic for too much money. Hi, girls. What's the joke?
あなたはキレてですね。
Okay, fine. Rectangles in a desolate landscape. Highly cubist. Spheres in a barren waste. Oh, very profound. I could see a pattern emerging in this artist's work. I had no possible use for a credit card reader. Are you Mr. Glees, the owner?
Good God, no.
Then I guess that must be him over there, right?
Your powers of deductive reasoning astound me.
Have you heard of Professor Ubier?
Yes, of course.
I was at his house earlier.
If you're going to drop names, you could at least name one worth dropping.
I thought Ubier was a well-respected man.
Why, his last book was nothing but pseudo-intellectual claptrap. The demented ramblings of a drug-dependent has-been.
What's that you're drinking?
I'm not sure, but I have a suspicion it might be urine. Glees can't expect a favorable criticism of his gallery when he serves this muck.
Would you give me your opinion on this pot, sir?
Yes. Very rapouche.
Rapouche?
Hideous.
What the hell do you think you're doing? You smashed my pot.
Certainly it was not only worthless, it was ugly and offensive.
To you, maybe.
Believe me, I was doing you a favor.
I wasn't going to waste any more breath talking to that pompous blimp. Maybe I could turn the situation to my advantage, and at the same time, get my revenge. The pot had smashed into too many pieces to retrieve.
Excuse me, sir.
Uh-huh.
That area is private.
Oh, so I'm not allowed back here?
No, sir.
I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Certainly, sir. I'd be most happy to oblige.
You're English?
These days one prefers to think of oneself as European.
Sure. Whatever you say.
And how precisely may one assist you, sir?
What I really wanted to ask you about was a black stone.
A black stone?
Yeah, it's a Mayan artifact, about as big as my hand.
No, sir, one doesn't get much call for black stones. If it's Mayan artifacts you're interested in, I have some rather exquisite pots.
So did I, until that slob smashed it. Have you heard of Professor Ubier?
Of course. His name is synonymous with Mayan art. A number of these artifacts were supplied by Ubier himself.
Do you believe the story that Ubier murdered his wife?
If it was true, who can blame him? She was an opportunist tramp. Well, that's what I heard.
Have you seen any of Ubier's wife's films?
Only one. Believe me, I was appalled, shocked, disgusted, and repulsed.
Well, you sure got your money's worth. Last time I went to the movies, I wasn't even titillated. I suppose you have an import license for these relics?
Of course. But that's not my problem, sir. The professor arranges all the shipping. We simply collect the items from the docks.
Could you tell me which docks Professor Oubier uses to import the artifacts?
Good God, no. I can't possibly reveal my commercial secrets.
Do you get many Central American Indians in here?
No, sir. This is Paris. Central America is several thousand kilometers southwest of here. Straight across the Atlantic Ocean and turn left. You can't miss it.
Well, as it happens, I saw some Central American Indians this very morning.
Tourists, sir. Paris is full of them at this time of year.
There is a gentleman over there who seems to be enjoying your wine.
I can't think why. It was very cheap.
I found this news story referring to a total eclipse of the sun.
Really, sir? Well, fascinating.
There was nothing else I wanted to ask the man. The way that guy was gripping the glass, I'd need a wrench to get away from him. I splashed a little absinthe into the glass and hoped he wouldn't notice the change of color.
Did you put something in my drink?
Yeah, I did. Well, what do you think?
Well, it's certainly an improvement over Gleese's wine. In fact, I could grow to like it.
I'd had enough of talking to that slob. The way that guy was gripping the glass, I'd need a wrench to get away from him. Allow me. There was nothing in the case but styrofoam packing, but pasted on the side was the remains of a label. The packing case contained nothing but styrofoam. Underneath a logo of a flying bird were the words Condor Transglobal Mars. The rest of the label was missing. It was beginning to make sense. Oubier had organized Nico's abduction. Oubier withdrew money from Marseille. Oubier was connected with Transglobal, who shipped their goods from a warehouse in Marseille. That's how the torn Transglobal label had once read. Marseille, not Mars. It wasn't much of a lead, but it was all I had. I set off immediately to catch the evening train. It was almost dawn when I arrived in Marseille. I traced Condor Transglobal to a desolate dockside. Ouch! That's hot. Hi, good morning.
Do you know what time it is?
No, I don't wear a watch. As my dad used to say, I'm not into time, man.
Well, you're too early.
What time is it anyhow?
The big hand's on the floor. Why aren't you in bed?
I can explain everything.
Never mind, I ain't that interested.
What time do you open the gates?
7.
Do you mind if I hang out here till the docks open?
Please yourself, but you'll have a long wait. It's Sunday, and tomorrow is the start of the national holiday. Everything is closed for a month.
Well, wouldn't you just know it? Does that dog belong to you?
Nah, he comes with the job. I just feed him every now and then.
More then than now, I'd say. What's the dog's name?
20.
It's unusual for a dog.
It's his registration number. Security dog number 20.
That animal doesn't seem too hot for a guard dog.
No? You haven't seen him in action.
Doesn't look like he has the energy to wag his tail.
Just like my wife. She's like a slug in a coma until she's annoyed. Then she's like a tiger with a rat up its ass.
Sweet. Ever heard of Condor Transglobal?
Sure. They have a warehouse here.
Well, could I take a look?
Not until after the holidays. Come back in a month.
I have to make a delivery to Condor Transglobal.
Where's your rig?
About half a mile down the road.
And you walked here? Jeez, are you some kind of nut?
Nah, it was easy. I just put one foot in front of the other. Are you gonna let me make my delivery?
Not without the paperwork. You get the papers, you make your delivery, and I get a fat backhander.
I was getting nowhere with the story about being a trucker. I'm looking for a young woman.
At the docks? What kind of woman do you have in mind?
You don't understand. It's my girlfriend I'm trying to find.
Well, I ain't seen her, and you should tell her the docks ain't no place for a young lady. They're dirty and they're dangerous.
I'm certain my girlfriend was brought here when she was abducted.
What? Your girl was kidnapped?
Yeah. Struck down by an Indian with a poisoned dart.
A poisoned dart, huh?
I could tell he didn't believe me. I have these very exotic panties.
Take them away, you pervert!
Have you ever heard of Professor Ubier?
Me? None of my friends are professors or anything like that.
What's cooking?
Beans. You know a man can live on nothing but beans.
Not this one. Don't you ever get tired of eating beans?
Sure I do. What do you take me for?
And what's the alternative?
Peas. I can't eat them too often, though. They play hell with my digestion.
Have you ever considered changing your diet?
What's wrong with beans and beer?
You need me to tell you? You're pumping out enough methane here to fill a dirigible. This is the dart that the Indian shot at my girlfriend.
Sheesh! That's pretty weird, but I don't see why you'd expect to find her here.
Take a look at this letter.
That's sick. Did you write it?
Oh, no. No, it's a letter from my girlfriend's admirer.
If I was you, I'd smack him in the mouth.
Well, that's not my style, but thanks for the advice. Do you know what kind of business Condor's involved in?
I'm paid to guard the gate. Their business is none of mine.
I gotta go now, but I'll be back.
Can't wait.
Hey, 20.
What's the big idea?
I don't know. The dog went berserk for no apparent reason.
He's trained to do that. The idea is to deter any would-be intruder.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just remember, He's a trained attack dog. A killer.
Breaking steel padlocks with my bare hands was a feat I'd never mastered.
Didn't I tell you to stay away from the fence?
I was nowhere near it. It's that dog. He's crazy.
Hey, mind what you say. He's sensitive to negative criticism.
The panties would not have been thick enough to shield this level of heat. It was the label I'd found in the Glee's gallery. That dog looked like he already had more worms than he needed. Without a way of firing the dart, I would never have been able to propel it fast enough to puncture the mutt's hide. Oh, it doesn't matter. The stick had a hook on one end. I figured it was a boat hook, for hooking boats. The bottle was just out of reach. Nothing was going to get me into that water if I could help it. I just knew that boat hook would be useful for something. As for the bottle, even if I couldn't find a use for it, I'd cleaned up the dock a little. It was a short wooden-handled boat hook. It was the beer bottle that slob of a watchman had dumped in the sea, now half full of filthy dock water. The label read, "Surge, the beer that clears your head." My arms weren't long enough to reach the platform. Hey, 20. I couldn't reach the cup. I couldn't reach the packet. I couldn't reach the bucket. I couldn't reach that far. I couldn't reach that far. I couldn't reach the I couldn't reach the door without climbing into the room. No, I had to think of something else. Excuse me?
Huh? Who's there?
No.
Hello?
The bottle was half filled with water. Maybe it would cool the cone down enough to touch it. Now I could see into the pipe which formed the chimney. That chimney looked very exposed without its cone. The bottle had blocked the chimney, and the hut was filling up with smoke. That chimney looked very exposed without its cone. That mug was a health risk. I decided to leave it where it was. The packet was full of dog biscuits. Yow! Stove equals heat, heat equals burn, burn equals excruciating pain. Baked beans in ketchup. Someone had once told me a piece of coal brought you luck. Who was I to argue with irrational superstition? The box contained nothing but blank forms.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Get the hell out of here.
Okay, just hold on to that dog. It was the box of biscuits I'd taken from the watchman's hut. Gourmet dog, the snack your dog would bake himself. Sure, as if I'd let a stupid dog loose in the kitchen. There was a cute picture of a boxer dog wearing oven mittens. It was my lucky piece of coal. Wrong, wrong, wrong. No. Hey, 20. Come and get it, boy. My arms weren't long enough to reach the platform.
Hey, 20. Come and get it, boy.
I felt a slight twinge of conscience as I prepared to give the dog a dunking. It soon passed. As I'd expected, the dog could swim like a dog. I couldn't reach the wheel and couldn't see any point in climbing up to it. The sign looked as if it was firmly attached to the wall. Anyway, I didn't really want it as a souvenir. I decided not to tamper with the clamp. Those jaws looked like they could snap shut at any moment. This sign also looked firmly attached to the wall. A sturdy chain and padlock hung around the door handles. The grill opened from the inside. The din must have drowned out the sound of my knocking. Maybe there was a way in up there. The metal housing prevented me from getting to the fan. I couldn't reach the blades of the fan, which was just as well. If I'd stuck my fingers in there, I'd never be able to play guitar again. I wouldn't have been heard over the din of the fan. I wouldn't have been heard over... That did the trick. The fan clunked and shorted out as its blades were mashed by the boat hook.
Hey! You make any more noise, I break your arms.
That bully needed to be taught a lesson.
Garzak's already mad because we didn't get the stone. You give me any trouble, I'll tell him it was all your fault.
Karzak? That must be his boss. The boat hook was jammed in the dented fan blades. I decided there was a better way to attract their attention. Not such a good idea. The window was jammed shut. The grill opened from the inside.
Who is it?
Pizza delivery?
I didn't order pizza.
No? This is the Condor Transglobal Shipping Company, isn't it?
I don't like pizza.
Oh, come on. Everyone likes pizza.
Maybe he was allergic to mozzarella.
Hey,
What now?
look. This pizza's been paid for. You might as well take it.
I told you, I don't like pizza.
Not even with extra olives?
I hate them. Olives are the devil's butt nuggets.
If you know what's good for you, you'll open this door.
What if I don't?
I'll kick your head in.
Okay, I'll come out, you creep.
If you know what's good for you,
What if I...
I'll kick...
Okay.
The only interesting thing I found was a small brass key. Among the paperwork which adorned the notice board was something which caught my eye. It was a delivery note from Condor Transglobal, and the address was Coromante City. It was locked. The little brass key didn't fit the lock. All the crates were firmly sealed.
Whoa! Don't shoot!
The little guy had a blowpipe. That confirmed my suspicions about what had happened to Nico. I waited for him to shoot me, but it didn't happen. Instead, he seemed to want to tell me something. What? What do you want? He seemed excited, almost desperate. What did he want so bad? Hi, I'm not going to hurt you.
Guaramonte!
Is that where you're from? Coromante City?
Guaramonte! Guaramonte!
Okay. What have you done with my girlfriend?
Huh?
I am not leaving without her. Where is she? He didn't appear to understand me. Tell me what you've done with Nico, And I'll share these biscuits with you. I knew it sounded lame, trying to bargain with a box of doggy snacks. Besides, how was he to know how yummy they tasted? Do you know what this is?
Peito. Lotse ka peito. Hinyakot lago ino mo to.
What does this key unlock?
Huh?
Hey, you're manacled. Who did this? That big thug? I'm gonna set you free, okay? Hey, come back here! The little guy had gone to ground amongst the stack of crates. Just in time. Interrupting the beam of light kept the doors from closing and stopped anyone from using the elevator. But what now? There. That would keep the doors from closing. I was wrestling with the small crate when I noticed the label on its side. Danger. Live contents do not drop. No chance. Whatever those crates contained, they were heavy. Nothing happened. That was probably because the elevator was already on this floor. The statue looked way too heavy for me to move. There wasn't much I could do with a pulley that didn't have any rope. There was an arc-shaped scratch on the floor, as if a door had been opened in the nearby wall. There was no way to open that window. My fingers traced the outline of a secret door in the wall. Then I found a small round stud, which was set flush to the surrounding wooden paneling. Just as I'd hoped. A secret room. A sturdy beam was jammed across the doors. These doors were not going to open. Nico! Will you look at this? It was a small statue of a kneeling figure in an ornate headdress. The head was hideous, with huge staring eyes set in a decomposing face.
Hey! Somebody's marketing Labino dolls.
Hold still. This might hurt a little.
Ow!
Think yourself lucky you don't have a mustache.
About time. You could at least have helped me before grabbing everything you could find.
Not so loud. They'll hear you.
Get these ropes off me right now.
You know, the mood you're in, maybe that's not such a good idea.
Where's Pablo, the big guy?
Out cold. Too much wine doesn't agree with him. Are you okay?
Of course I'm not okay. Untie me this instant.
There. How are you feeling?
Oh, thanks, Georges. How on earth did you find me?
I knew Oubier had been in Marseille. But never mind about me. How about you tell me exactly what's going on, starting with that Mayan stone?
I picked it up from one of Karzak's men in Paris. I was expecting a consignment of narcotics.
Drugs?
Yes. The proof I needed to expose Karzak's smuggling operation. I'd set it up to act as his courier, and once I had the proof, I planned to go straight to Inspector Mou. But instead of the dope I'd expected, they sent me that stone instead. And to find out more, I called Professor Oubier, who invited me to his mansion. At least, I thought it was Oubier.
I don't get it. If Karzak's business is drugs, why is he so desperate to get his hands on that stone?
Maybe it has some significance to the local people in Central America. It could be Karzak's means of getting them to work for him. Anyway, we've got to get out of here.
Nico, wait! It was the rope the Indian had used to tie Nico to a chair. Boy, what a souvenir. It was the strip of masking tape which the big Indian had used to gag Nico. It was the set of manacles I'd removed from the little Indian's ankles. It was a flint carving of a grotesque figure with large, evil eyes. We can't use the elevator. If that thug Pablo's recovered, he'll be waiting for us.
We've got to do something. Where does that door lead to?
I'm not sure. Okay, tell me what you know about Condor.
Condor Transglobal exports Aztec and Mayan relics from Central America to Europe. But that's just a cover for the real business. Drug smuggling.
What proof do you have?
Nothing yet.
Do you know where Condor is based?
In Central America. A place called Quaramonte.
I saw that name on a docket downstairs. Tell me about this Karzak guy.
Well, I saw him for only a few minutes, but he frightened me. I got the impression that Pablo was nervous when he was around too. His eyes, they're like a wild animal's, like a tiger. That's what scared me most about him. He looked so unpredictable and dangerous.
Did you know Oubier's wife was a film star?
No, I didn't know he was married. What happened to her?
She died. In mysterious circumstances, apparently.
How mysterious?
I heard she was murdered. Possibly by Oubier himself.
A murderer, huh? André said he was something of a celebrity.
Did I hear you refer to Inspector Mou?
Yes, you remember him?
Well, of course I do. But I thought he was dead.
Oh no, he reappeared after the broken sword case had blown over. When he found out who was in with the Neo-Templars, he went into hiding. Mou knew more than was good for him.
Does he know about our involvement with the case?
If he does, he's not telling. Still, he got a sudden promotion.
Did that Indian guy mistreat you?
If you forget about the abduction, verbal threats, and bondage, no.
Well, what about the little guy?
I don't think he knows where he is or what he's doing here. The big guy, Pablo, he brought Titipoco from the jungle.
Titty what?
Titipoco. That's what I heard Pablo call the dwarf.
Do you recognize this?
Is that the dart which knocked me out?
That's right. I kept it as a souvenir. Have you any idea who this little statue is supposed to be?
I'm not very well acquainted with Mayan deities, Georges. But whatever his name, he sure is ugly.
I found these in your bag.
Oh, they were a gift.
I know. I read the note.
God knows what was going through Andre's mind.
I think that's quite plain enough. Look, the little guy downstairs was chained up with these.
That must have been Pablo's doing. I don't blame him, though. That little guy is dangerous.
You're still sore about that poison dart?
Of course I'm sore.
These doors were not going to open. There was no way to open that window. The statue looked way too... It would be much easier to attach the rope to the statue first. There wasn't much I could do with a pulley that didn't have any rope. The rope wasn't long enough to reach the pulley. There wasn't enough room to move the handle. Hopefully, the tape would prevent those doors from closing and stop the Indian from being able to call the elevator. The pallet rose about 6 inches off the floor, and I said a silent prayer to whoever had discovered the power of hydraulics.
What on earth are you doing?
Trying to raise the statue so I can hook it to that pulley.
Is that really going to help us?
I like to keep myself occupied in times of stress. It was too heavy for me to move on my own. I didn't want to remove the rope from the pulley. Could you give me a hand to push this statue?
What for?
This, my dear, is our passport to freedom.
If you say so, dear.
Okay, push! Great teamwork.
Nice to be working with you again, Mr. Stobart.
I thought about hanging from the cable with my bare hands, but it was too far to the other end of the cable to escape that way. Nico, I have a great idea.
George, where have you been?
Never mind that. Do you have the Mayan stone?
Maybe I have, but,
Don't argue, André. Give the stone to George.
well, of course. If you say so, Nicole.
Thank you so much, André.
George, he told me you'd been kidnapped, my dear. I'm glad to see he was mistaken.
Oh, but it was true. If it hadn't been for George, I wouldn't be here now.
It's not finished yet. Karzak's thugs will be back for that stone, you can bet. The best lead that we have is Coramonte City.
Coramonte is in Central America. That's where Ubier gets his artifacts.
That's all we needed to know. Come on, George.
Quaramonte, the traveler's rear entrance to Central America. Well, that's how it was translated in the brochure. We didn't know what we were looking for, but the offices of Condor Transglobal seemed a good place to start.
Hey, it's market day. I don't see any cabs. Let's ask someone how to get to Quaramonte City.
Okay. Keep your eyes peeled for any sign of Condor Transglobal.
Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. Can we get a cab to the capital?
This is the capital, Quaramonte City.
When's the next ship out of here?
But, senor, don't you like our beautiful country?
Oh, yeah. It's like a little piece of paradise right here on Earth.
Then why you wanna leave?
I'm just plain homesick. Like it says in the song.
A word of warning, senor. If you feel like bursting into song, bite your tongue.
Huh?
There are official restrictions on music in Quaramonte.
We've had enough. We're going back to the ship.
Okay. You show me your brown card?
Huh? What brown card is that?
The official exit visa.
How come music is restricted in Quaramonte?
It is part of the great cultural enrichment campaign. Traditional Caramonte music is considered unsuitable for these fast-moving times. Nuestra Señora has decreed that only one category of music is suitable.
What's that?
Easy listening.
Inside the hut was a chair and a small table.
Hi.
You wanna buy something?
No, not really.
I got cabbages. Buy a cabbage, senor.
I don't think so. I didn't come all this way to buy vegetables.
Listen, have you heard of Condor Transglobal?
No. Buy a cabbage. I'll give you a discount on both purchases.
I'm not into cabbages.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Aye, Tezcatlipoca. Put it away, senor. Tezcatlipoca brings nothing but evil.
The poor guy was so freaked, he didn't even mention his cabbages.
See ya.
You changed your mind. You want to buy cabbages after all. How many you want? 2? 3?
None.
Don't come crying to me if you die of scurvy.
He wasn't going to be any help.
Hi there. What have you got for sale?
¿Qué?
I said, what have you got? Oh, never mind.
Hi. Lovely bread.
¿Qué?
Bread. Pain?
Sí, pan.
Maybe I'll come back later when I'm hungry.
Those things are gourds, aren't they?
Sí.
Hey, mind the footwear, lady.
Do you have crabs?
No, only fish.
Nice fish.
Thanks.
If, by some remote chance, I ever need a fish, I'll be back. Do you recognize this statue?
Si, senor. It is very, very bad luck. That is Tezcatlipoca, the Night Hunter.
I know, but I don't believe in luck, good or bad.
You may not now, but you will.
The guy looked scared out of his wits.
Go away.
In Quaramonte, defacing a poster was probably a capital offense. What was that? It's a lump of lucky coal. Coal? I would have preferred chocolate. Any flavor, so long as it hasn't got marzipan in it. God, I hate marzipan. You can talk. I mean, you're a talking goat. Keep your voice down. This is between you and me, right? Well, I guess so. Now, I mean it. You tell anyone you've spoken to me, and you'll be cursed. Hey, cheer up, guys. What's with the long faces?
Our pipe player has been arrested and thrown in jail.
Poor Miguel. He never broke the law in his life.
Why was Miguel put in jail?
For playing folk music.
What?
It's true, senor. He insisted on playing traditional Cuaramonte music, even though it's illegal.
Why don't you try playing a tune to cheer yourselves up?
No, we should be looking for real jobs.
We could earn 10 times as much down the mines. My cousin Ramirez was earning 8 pesos an hour.
Before he lost his legs in the accident.
Tell me about the accident at the mine.
There was an explosion at Teoculcan. 30 miners were buried alive.
They got some of them out, though.
2 of them, including your cousin, and they left half of him behind.
Would either of you guys care for a biscuit?
A dog biscuit, senor?
Are you trying to insult us?
No, really, they're good.
We'll take your word for it.
Have you any idea what this is?
No, senor.
Me neither.
Have you seen anything like...
I, the hungry chief.
Why are you carrying that thing around with you, senor? Don't you know who it is?
Sure, it's Tezcatlipoca. But it's only a little carving.
It brings death, senor. Death and destruction.
What do you make of this little worm?
No good. It's dead.
Sure it's dead. You think I'd carry it around in my pocket if it wasn't? Take a look at the design on this label.
I have seen that before.
Where?
There was a ship flying a flag just like that.
When did you see this ship?
3 months ago. It was here, at the docks.
What was the ship with the condor flag carrying?
I don't know, senor. We weren't allowed near the docks.
That's right. Usually we meet the ships when they tie up.
We play to the tourists.
Well, when the condor ship came in, we were told to go away.
Do you guys know anything about a total eclipse?
What is it?
It's like when the sun is hidden by the moon.
He's crazy.
My cousin Alfredo swears he saw it happen once. But that was after he stupidly consumed a cocktail of peyote and antibiotics.
George Stobart, well, of all the...
Mrs. Henderson. Boy, this is some coincidence, huh?
When you've been married to a fruitcake like Dwayne as long as I have, you stop believing in coincidence.
I'd met Pearl and Dwayne on the other side of the globe in Syria. He was an Army veteran who suspected he was working for the CIA, but wasn't sure. She was less obviously deranged. Is Dwayne here with you, Mrs. Henderson?
Why, sure, I couldn't leave him home alone. Since Dwayne came back from the war, we couldn't bear to be apart.
So, where is he now?
We ain't speaking.
Why aren't you speaking to Dwayne?
Because he's an old spoiled sport sourpuss. I want to visit one of those old pyramid places, but Dwayne says he has to stay in town.
Right, and you don't want to go on your own.
Well, there's no point in going to the pyramid if there's no one around to take my picture.
Is Dwayne still working for the CIA?
If he is, he doesn't know it. He's what they call a snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No, this is different. He used to think he worked for them, but the psychotherapy cured him of that. What he doesn't realize is that now he really does work for them. At least that's the way I understood it.
What brings you to Cuaramonte, Pearl?
What takes me just about anywheres. The market.
You drove 2,000 miles to go shopping?
Shopping is my role in the economy of the Great Design, George.
What do you make of this stone, Pearl?
Oh, that's pretty. What's that thing supposed to be, a rabbit?
I believe it's a coyote.
Well, it sure is cute.
I was surprised she didn't ask me where she could buy one. What does this mean to you, Pearl?
What cute little feathers. Why, if you had 2 of those, they'd sure make nice earrings.
This isn't intended for frivolous personal adornment, Pearl. It's a dart, tipped with a fast-acting, muscle-numbing poison.
Pardon me, I stand corrected, honey.
Sometimes I got the feeling that communication with Pearl was like sending signals out into space. Maybe, if you waited long enough, you'd get an intelligent answer back. But it was a long shot. What do you make of this statue, Pearl?
Hoo-wee, that's a spitting image of Dwayne's brother Sheridan. A little less body hair, maybe, but it's him all right.
Look at this, Pearl. A tequila worm.
Don't you bring that thing anywheres near me, honey. I swear I'll scream like a hog on a hot plate.
Take a look at this news cutting, Pearl.
You'll have to read it to me, George. I left my specs in a gay bar in Santa Barbara.
Well, it's about an eclipse of the sun, which is due to occur in a few weeks' time.
You'd think the government would warn us about these kind of things.
It's not dangerous or anything. Apparently, the best place to view the eclipse is right here in Quaramonte.
Oh, my.
She didn't appear to be the slightest bit interested.
Catch you later, Pearl.
The cell was vacant. There was a forlorn-looking guy asleep on the floor of the jail. It was Miguel, the pipe player. Hey, Miguel! He didn't hear me. It was Pearl's husband, Dwayne. Hey, Mr. Anderson. Good to see you again.
Do I know you, son?
George Stobart, remember? In Syria? I sold you a statue.
I remember that. Pearl was mighty vexed when the paint came off.
Look, I'm sorry. I'll give you back the $50.
No, you suckered me fair and square.
Are you still working for... you know who?
You know I can't talk about my work, George. That's between me and Uncle Sam.
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Sounds like a comic book villain to me, son.
He's the man behind Condor, and the rat who kidnapped Nico.
You know, the first time I met you, I was deeply impressed with your naive simplicity. I said to Pearl, if we ever had kids, I would have wanted a boy like George. But I underestimated you, son.
Did you know that traditional music is illegal in Caramonte?
Is that so? Seems reasonable to me.
No, really. The leader of the band in the square has been imprisoned just because of the music he played.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but that fella, Miguel, he's an agitator.
What's the real reason the musician was imprisoned?
Handed out subversive literature at the mines. That so-called general was waiting for Miguel when he got back into town. Marched him off to jail at gunpoint on a charge of inciting a riot.
I spoke to Pearl earlier.
Yeah? Did she mention that we had a kind of falling out?
Yes, she did.
She'll get over it.
Did you drive all the way down here?
Hell no. Pearl did the driving while I followed the maps. The way she handled the wheel, you'd think she'd been trucking half her life.
Why did you bring a huge truck like that?
George, I'm on a top-secret classified mission for Uncle Sam. This truck is a rolling bomb. 400 pounds of nitrate fertilizer with a plastique initiator. They'll hear the bang in China. Gee, I'm really looking forward to this.
Would you like a biscuit, Dwayne?
Oh, no. Those gourmet dog snacks bring me out in a rash.
You've tried them?
They were on special offer. Pearl bought a whole crate. When I asked her if she was thinking of keeping a dog, too, she just laughed.
Would you like to borrow my lucky piece of coal, Dwayne?
What's so lucky about it?
Well, we made it to Quaramonte in one piece.
When you've been here a few days, you won't look on that as luck.
Do you know anything about a shipping company called Condor Transglobal?
Sure I do. You have to get up pretty early to catch Dwayne with his pants down.
What? You beat me to it?
Condor Transglobal is all wound up. Seems like my investigations scared them off.
What do you think of these panties, Dwayne?
Lord, Hot stuff, George. You buy those for your girl?
No, a guy we knew in Paris bought him for her.
Oh, you're a threesome then. Why are you looking at me like that, George?
Forget it. Stealing trucks wasn't my style. Hi, I'm George Stobart. What can you tell me about the mining company?
The general closed down one of their mines after the explosion. Lots of folks lost their lives. I was lucky. I only lost my legs.
Can you tell me anything about this stone?
That's obsidian. It's a volcanic rock which has cooled so fast that...
Yeah, look, I'm not interested in geology.
You're not? I suppose you want to know about the carved picture on it.
That's right.
Then the guy you should talk to is the professor. He was here a while ago.
Do you know what this statue represents?
Should do. I used to carve things like that to sell to tourists, but it scared people around here, so I stopped.
Do you recognize the design on this label?
Why, sure. That's the Condor Transglobal Shipping Company logo.
Do they have an office in Quaramonte?
No, but they ship out from here.
That's what I thought. Did you see the ship with the Condor flag?
No.
But the dock is just the other side of the square.
Might as well be the other side of the moon.
Have you heard about the eclipse of the sun?
Sure, I'm having a party to celebrate it. Drop by.
Really?
Sure. Plenty of food, plenty of wine, and everyone's invited, except the general.
What do you think of these panties?
Awesome. You wear them?
No. Someone sent them to my girlfriend.
Thoughtful.
I hear you drove all the way to Quaramonte. In a truck.
That's right. You would not believe the state of some of those roads. Makes me downright sad to think there's still some places you can't reach in an automobile. In this day and age, you'd think there'd be decent highways just about anywhere folk choose to go.
Did you know that the truck was full of explosives?
Whatever gave you that idea, as if I couldn't guess?
Your husband. He was exaggerating, wasn't he?
Sometimes I wonder how I'm going to cope with Dwayne's over-fertile imagination.
Catch you later, Pearl. Hey, Nico!
I have done just as I have been instructed, Professor. With the mine closed down, there'll be no one around to observe your excavations. Ah, I have visitors.
Just remember what I told you, General. There's really no need to make a martyr out of that man.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Senor. Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. My name's George Stobart from California.
But what is this? An angel come down to earth.
Nicole Collard. Enchanté, mon général.
Pardon me, senorita, but I couldn't help myself.
Look, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
You've come to the right place, senor. Tourist information. General Graciento, at your service.
This is the tourist office? It says police on the sign outside.
It is both, senor. I am a man of many parts.
I can see that, General.
Have you heard of a guy called Karzak?
No. No, I never heard of him.
I hear there was an accident at the mine a few months ago.
That's correct.
A lot of men killed, weren't there?
A few.
30?
Barely 1% of the working population.
Is it true there's a restriction on music in Quaramonte?
Yes, there is. An emergency measure introduced by Nuestra Senora.
Folk music is a link with the past for some of these people. Take away their musical roots and what do they got left?
Easy listening.
You think easy listening could replace a musical heritage hundreds of years old?
Why not? It happened in your country.
Are there any ruins around the city?
Of course, senor. Quaramonte has everything.
I have a friend who wants to visit an historical site.
Ronaldo will only be too pleased to conduct a guided tour, when he's dealt with today's paperwork, of course.
Who was the guy you were talking to when we arrived?
Professor Ubier, a visitor, senor, like yourselves.
Did you say Ubier?
Si, senor. Professor Ubier, a French archaeologist.
What's Ubier doing in Quaramonte?
Researching our rich and glorious past, senor. The professor is planning an expedition to some Mayan ruins. He came to see me to get an excavation permit.
We've had enough of Quaramonte and we want out.
Am I stopping you?
The guy at the docks tells me I need an exit visa.
Ask Ronaldo. He'll make the arrangements. That's what he's here for.
Would you like a biscuit?
Are you trying to bribe me?
Well, every man has his price.
Mine is more than a dog cookie, Senor Stobart.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
That's a native carving, isn't it? Where did you get it?
We picked it up in the market, as a souvenir.
What do you think of these panties, General?
Oh boy, fabuloso!
They're yours if you'll tell me all you know about Karzak.
I told you. I never heard of the guy. Do I get the panties now? I told you all I know.
You told me nothing. Take a look at this label.
Si, senor. Condor Transglobal.
Can you tell me where to find their offices?
No, senor. I never heard of them, and neither did Ronaldo.
Are you sure you never heard of Condor?
Oh, yes.
The company is registered here in Quaramonte City.
You are mistaken, senorita.
The musicians out in the square say that a ship flying the Condor flag was birthed here.
They are simple peasants. They will go along with anything you say in the hopes of parting you from your money.
Condor is run by Karzak, isn't it?
Wrong again, senor. Karzak has nothing to do with anything called Condor, whoever he is.
Do you keep a record of companies registered in Quaramonte?
Of course, senorita. Unfortunately, all the records were destroyed by a flash flood.
Do you know anything about the forthcoming eclipse, General?
Such things do not interest me, senor.
I'll be back.
Senor. Leave that child alone.
I decided to leave the television switched on. I had no need for junk mail, especially someone else's. The safe was undoubtedly locked. It was a computer monitor with some kind of outdated game displayed on it. I didn't have time to get sidetracked by playing computer games. The filing cabinet was probably locked. Hi, I'm George Stobart.
Hello, senor. How can I help you?
I'd like to visit your prisoner.
Condemned prisoners aren't allowed visitors.
Condemned?
To death. He is to be executed. Knowing my luck, I will probably have to shoot him myself.
Amnesty International is going to hear about this. I thought Miguel was arrested for playing the wrong kind of music.
Si, senor, he was.
And that carries the death penalty?
No. You think we're crazy? While being questioned, he confessed to being an anti-government agent.
Are there any ancient pyramids near Quaramonte?
Si, senor. But it's not very impressive. It's in ruins.
That's perfect. Would you be willing to give a guided tour of the ruins?
I can't. The General would have a fit if I left all this paperwork.
I'm trying to get out of Quaramonte.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be able to buy back half my family.
Never mind them. What about my visa?
We don't take visa.
I didn't ask if you take a visa. I want you to give me a visa.
I can't help you, senor. I don't understand these things.
Would you like a gourmet dog snack biscuit?
I would love one, senor. But I would have a problem with my teeth.
Toothache?
No, senor. If the General catches me eating on duty, he'll knock them out.
Do you recognize this statue?
Tezcatlipoca. The night wind. Take it away, senor. That stone is cursed.
You know anything about this eclipse?
No, senor. El General keeps me in the dark about most things.
So long. I wasn't going to try investigating the passage while the General was sat there.
Why did you show him the stone?
I thought maybe he might know something about it.
Well, he does now, for sure. He knows we have it.
Did you notice that chart on the police station wall?
Yes. It looked like a map to me, but I couldn't make out the details.
Whatever it was, the General didn't want us to see it. You came on a little strong with the General.
I was merely flattering his ego, Georges. Every man has his Achilles heel.
Maybe, but that guy's weakness isn't in his foot. Labano tells me he's been seeing a lot of you.
We meet sometimes for lunch, a drink. After you'd gone back to the States, I was pretty lonely, you know.
Lonely? You must have been desperate. Couldn't you just visit the zoo or something? That man we saw talking to the General was Oubier. Didn't you recognize him?
I never met him, remember? The guy I called in Paris claimed to be Oubier, but he sounded nothing like the man in the police station. Maybe the professor really is innocent.
Nah, it's too much of a coincidence that he's here in Quaramonte. Would you like a biscuit?
Gourmet dog? Have you been eating those things, Georges?
Sure, they're great. Guess what this is? Go on, guess.
It's wrought iron, probably from a chimney stack on an old stove.
Well, I suppose it could be. How did she know that?
My grandfather used to work in a foundry.
Take a look at this, Nico.
That's disgusting, Georges. Why are you carrying it around with you?
I don't know. I just can't seem to part with it. Take a look at this.
An eclipse of the sun. Why the sudden interest in astronomy?
I found the cutting in Oubier's house.
Apparently, it's only visible from Central America.
Take a look at this.
Mon Dieu! Where did you get that kind of money?
It's not mine. I found that statement at Oubier's house. Do you have any theories about this stone?
I think that design represents a dog, a Mexican dog.
So, this is the sacred Chihuahua stone? Sheesh. Have you met the guy who calls himself the General?
No, I haven't. Is he a real general?
I guess so. He wears a lot of medals on his chest. The wrong side of his chest. At least for any army I'd ever seen.
Catch you later, Pearl.
Professor Ubier?
Yes? Who are you?
My name is Stobart. George Stobart. Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Yes, I know him. In fact, if it wasn't for Karzak, I wouldn't be here.
What?
He's financing my expedition.
Tell me about your wife, Professor.
Please, I don't want to talk about her.
Maybe you don't, but I do. Why was she known as the Little Dachshund?
It was just a silly pet name I used to call her. Somehow some damned reporter found out.
What do you know about my girlfriend's abduction?
I don't know what you're talking about.
She was invited to your mansion in Paris.
Not by me, she wasn't. I haven't been home for nearly 7 months.
Have you ever employed a Central American butler or servant?
I've never employed any kind of servant, monsieur.
Would you like a biscuit?
No, thank you.
You should, they're good. I can't get enough of these things. Can you tell me anything about this stone?
Where did you get that?
That's my business.
How much do you want for it?
It's not for sale. Can you identify this statue, Professor?
Oh, yes. Tezcatlipoca, the Lord of Darkness.
A Central American god, right?
A supreme deity. Tezcatlipoca means, literally, smoking mirror. There. You see the mirror shield in his left hand? The Mayans believed he could look into the mirror and see into the hearts of men. He was the wind which came howling in the night in search of victims, and victims they gave him by the thousand.
Human sacrifices?
Men, women, children, animals, anything that bled. The steps of his temple ran red with the blood of sacrifices. The Mayans have a legend that says he'll return one day. I hope I'm not around to see it.
Do you see this label?
Yes. It refers to a company named Condor. What of it?
I traced that company here, to Quaramonte. Do you know where I can find the offices of Condor Transglobal?
The company no longer exists. They went bankrupt recently.
I have proof that you are directly involved with Condor.
I used them as shippers to transport artifacts to a gallery in Paris. Beyond that, I have no connection with the company, which, as I said, no longer exists.
Do you know anything about this eclipse, Professor?
Of course. It's not the reason I'm here in Quaramonte, but I'm looking forward to seeing it all the same.
What's your interest in the eclipse, Professor?
Oh, it's purely a layman's curiosity. History's my subject, not astronomy. But I've been fascinated by the movements of the heavenly bodies since I was a child. I wouldn't miss a total eclipse for the world.
Does the eclipse have some special significance for you?
From me? No. For the ancient Mayans, it marked the end of the Fifth Age.
Perhaps we should be celebrating.
Ah, no. The end of each age heralds destruction on a global scale. The fifth is the final age, ending in the total destruction of the Earth.
Take a look at this, Professor. What have you got to say about that?
Where did you get this?
Never mind that. How do you explain these withdrawals?
I left my financial affairs in the hands of my secretary.
Including the withdrawal of funds in cash from your personal account?
I trust Gwyneth implicitly.
And why Marseille? Why the very place my girlfriend was taken?
That's obvious, Stobart. We are both the victims of the same devious plot.
What plot?
I have no idea.
Do you think the general was involved with Condor?
Hell no. And if he's a general, I'm a Buddhist. No, that fella's just a mouthpiece for the real power in Quaramonte.
So the general is nothing but a puppet?
He's like Pinocchio before he met the Blue Rinse Fairy. Strictly strings and wood.
Who's pulling the strings?
His mother. Better known as La Presidenta, the dictator. Go away!
Tell me about the general. You know, the guy in charge around here.
We don't want to talk about him, senor.
How come? No one can hear you. Well, only that old goat.
In Quaramonte we have a saying, don't tell your old goat what you don't want your wife to know.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
In Quaramonte, defacing a poster was probably a capital offense. Hey, Nico!
Hola, señora.
Hi. We were wondering...
I was talking to the lady, Chico.
Hi, my name is Nicole Collard.
Concha Garcia. How can I help you, sister?
The corporation I represent is considering a major investment in Quaramonte. Your advice, as the head of an obviously successful concern, is precisely what I'm after. My assistant, Mr. Stobart, has a few questions he'd like to ask you.
Have you heard of a man named Karzak?
No, who is he?
He's the reason we came to Quaramonte. We think he's running a drug ring.
Well, I hope you find him, but I've never heard the name before.
Can you tell me about the accident at the mine?
Accident? It was sabotage. Somebody wanted my mine closed down for good.
Do you have any evidence that the mine was sabotaged?
Not yet, but I'll get to the bottom of it. There'd been trouble at that mine for several months. The workforce was getting smaller every day. Someone had started a rumor among the men that the mine was cursed. Now the entire operation has been closed down.
Where's the site of the mine?
Several days upriver at a remote area known as Teoculcan.
Do you know Professor Ubier?
Yes. I understand he is about to embark on an archaeological expedition. He hired some equipment from me earlier today.
I overheard him talking to the general. I think they're working together.
What? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have hired out the equipment. Now, why would the general be interested in an archaeologist?
Would you like a dog biscuit?
Would you like a smack in the mouth, Chico?
Does this stone mean anything to you?
I think it is a spirit stone carved by a Mayan priest, no? I don't know which of their many gods it represents.
Can you tell me anything about this statue?
It is Tezcatlipoca, the god of death and pestilence. That fetish would be considered by many to be a bad omen.
Do you recognize the icon on this label?
Condor Transglobal.
Did the company operate here in Caramonte?
Yes, they ran an old container ship, the Mayan Princess.
Do you know who owned Condor Transglobal?
I've no idea.
You see this? It's my lucky piece of coal.
What's so lucky about it?
I'm not sure yet.
Nice buns.
Have you heard about the forthcoming eclipse?
I don't take much interest in things like that. One of the boys might know about it.
Would you be interested in these panties? They look about your size.
Is that your best line, Chico?
I'm serious. They were an unwanted gift.
Put them away before you get overexcited. Keep out of there. That's where the explosives are stored.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Consolidated Mining. If you are planning to stay in Caramonte City, may I recommend the Consolidated Mining Experience, an interactive hands-on tour of one of our deepest mines, with talking tour guides available in 3 different languages.
A tour of a mine.
Well, this is a mining company. What else did you expect?
Do you know anything about the eclipse that's due soon?
Me? No, senor.
Do you know where I could find Senor Karzak?
No, senor.
How come you're not wearing any pants?
I feel more alert without them. Kind of perky.
And your boss doesn't mind?
She suggested it.
Are you looking forward to the eclipse of the sun?
Not especially. Are you?
I don't know. I've never seen one. All I know about eclipses is that you shouldn't try to view them with the naked eye.
Please, go away and let me get on with my work.
Ever heard of a guy called Karzak?
Can't you see I'm busy? If I don't finish this stock report, the boss will be mad as hell.
Ever hear of a guy called Karzak?
No, sir.
Did you know there's an eclipse of the sun in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, Joe told me about it. He's having a party and we're all invited. Me and the boys are dressing up as evil monks.
Yeah? Cool. Do you know anything about the eclipse?
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I heard it's going to be pretty spectacular.
It's in a few weeks' time, isn't it?
9 days.
Thanks. Ever heard of a guy called Karzak?
No.
There was nothing else I wanted to talk to Nico about at that time. you find any evidence of Condor's drug smuggling operations?
Drugs? Hell no! Condor was a cover for the illegal export of Mayan artifacts.
So who was behind Condor Transglobal?
It was registered in the name of Edan.
Did you get the guy?
I don't think he ever existed. Edan backwards spells Nady, Spanish for nobody.
Is Miguel the reason you're here?
Pretty smart, George. I was supposed to make contact with him. By the time I found him, though, he was in jail. I've been trying to figure out a way to get him out since then.
Sounds good to me. Count me in.
Good man, George. All I need is a detonator.
How come you brought a truckload of explosives but no detonator?
Call me old-fashioned, but I say packing trunks is woman's work. I left the packing to Pearl, and I can't find a darn thing. Just hope she remembered to bring my denture polish. I'd sure hate to arrive back in the States with tar on my teeth.
Do you have any kind of detonating device in stock?
Sure. They're kept in that cupboard.
I don't suppose you have one spare?
I can't simply give you a device like that, no without a damn good reason.
The General has a chart in his office, which he was discussing with Ubier.
Perhaps that chart will tell us where they're heading.
Maybe, but I can't get anywhere near it while the General and his sidekick are there. Could you distract the General while I took a look at that chart?
You're kidding. Did you see the way he was leering at me?
Yeah, you'd make a great snake charmer. Come on, 5 minutes is all I need.
Well, maybe. But it's your harebrained scheme. You do the talking.
I had nothing else I wanted to ask him. Do you have a map of Quaramonte?
A map? I'm sorry, senor, but I don't.
What about the one on the wall?
Ah, that is an archaeological survey map, senor. Not suitable for tourists.
My girlfriend has a favor she wants to ask you, General.
For you, my dear. Anything.
I've changed my mind.
Oh, no, you haven't. She's embarrassed about asking you for an interview, General.
An interview? With me? Fabuloso!
Well, I want to write a story about you.
You hear that, Ronaldo? An exclusive glossy spread about your beloved General.
Si, Signor General.
Look after things here. I'm going back to my apartment and I don't want to be disturbed.
I'll get you for this, George Stobart.
Don't worry.
If you're gone for more than a couple of hours, I'll come and get you.
A couple of hours?
No, 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 senor. The general said nobody must see that chart.
He won't know unless you tell him.
You don't know him, senor. He will worm it out of me as easily as he de-waxes his ear.
Okay.
I'd have to get rid of him. I'd still have to figure out how to get rid of Ronaldo before I went down there. Would you take my friend to the ruins now the general's gone?
I'd be honored, senor.
Thanks. I'll go get her. Do you know where I could buy a detonator?
Did Dwayne put you up to this by any chance? Oh, I get it. This is to detonate the truckload of explosives, right?
Hey, come on, I was kidding. Did you think I was serious?
I know what you boys are like when you get together and make plans. Dwayne says he could solve all the world's problems if he had enough missiles.
I've made the arrangements for your visit to the temple, Pearl.
Oh, that's just great, George. Why don't you come too, honey?
I'd love to, but right now I have to save the world.
Listen, sweetie, I'm looking for an official guide to take me to the old pyramid.
For a lovely lady, I would go to the ends of the earth. For you, I will go as far as the pyramid and back. But what about your husband?
What he doesn't know won't hurt him. Let's go, Beanpole.
As Pearl and Ronaldo set out for the ruined pyramid, I prepared to search the police station. It looked like a geological survey map showing the land to the southeast of Cuaramonte City. About 60 miles inland and upstream was an area marked Teoculcan. The safe was undoubtedly locked. I had no need for junk mail, especially someone else's. I decided to leave the television switch. The filing cabinet was probably locked. I'm George Stobart. You're Miguel the musician, aren't you?
Ex-musician, senor. My career is finished.
Going to jail could be the boost your career needed.
Senor, I would rather die than live with this shame.
Have you heard of a guy called Karzak?
Yes. The old man spoke of him.
The foreigner? Professor Ubier?
That's right. This man Karzak is Ubier's boss.
Why is that noose hanging from the bars?
Ronaldo strung it up, for me to hang myself. Don't cry for me, Senor Stubbard. When I am dead, the goddess will take my soul to rest in paradise.
I couldn't reach the noose. There was nothing I wanted to talk about right then. I couldn't reach the light. I got a good look at that chart in the police station. It's a map of Quaramonte.
Does it tell us where Ubier is heading?
Yeah, a place called Teoculcan.
That's the site of the mine. I wonder why they're being so secretive about Ubier's plans. One thing's for sure. If the general's involved, they're up to no good. I'd like to talk to that musician Miguel. Take the detonator and get him out of that jail.
There was nothing else I wanted in the cupboard. Here is the detonator, Dwayne.
Keep your voice down, George. You want everyone to know. You'd best go and warn Miguel that the U.S. cavalry's on the way.
Okay. Hey, Miguel.
What is it? What is happening?
We're getting out of here.
Who's we? They've sent the Delta Force?
Nope.
The Impossible Missions Force?
Don't make me sick. Much better.
Who then?
A retired greetings card salesman from Ohio.
I'm doomed.
You're not the only one.
I should have known you'd be trouble the moment I saw you.
Look, I can explain everything.
Get in that cell, now.
And what if I refuse?
He'll shoot you.
Okay, here I am, going quietly into the cell.
Very wise, North Americano scum.
One of the reasons I hate guns so much is the way they make people so damned impolite.
I hope you're enjoying your vacation, Senor Stobart.
Go polish your weapon, Ronaldo.
This was part of your plan, right?
Well, in a manner of speaking, no. I was all out of ideas. It was up to Nico now.
So, here we are.
You've changed.
I thought I would slip into something more comfortable.
The stench of cheap cologne rolled over me like tear gas.
So, what do you want to know about me? Ask and I will answer. I will deny you nothing. I am a very giving person.
How nice for your friends.
Your eyes are glittering like stars.
His damn cologne was making my eyes water. I was running out of sofa.
As spirited as you are beautiful, I admire that.
As long as he admired it from afar. I didn't want the picture. On close inspection, I noticed that the swordfish was peppered with machine gun bullet holes. The general was a real sportsman, and no mistake. I didn't want to watch a lot of tawdry soap operas. I didn't want the lava lamp. The tiger was beyond help. Is that a lava lamp?
Sure, it's more impressive in the dark. I'll close the blinds.
No, don't do that. Not on such a beautiful day. Who's the guy with the hat and the fat cigar?
My mother.
Big fish. Catch it yourself?
Catch it. Fishing poles are for children.
Then how did... Are those bullet holes?
2 magazines on full automatic. It put up quite a fight.
That tiger skin. You didn't kill it yourself, did you?
Alas, no. I had to import a synthetic one from the United States. It is very comfortable to lie on naked.
Unfortunately, I'm allergic to man-made fibers.
Mom!
What is going on here?
Nothing, Mom. I was...
I'm in uniform. And when I'm in uniform, it's...
Madame la Présidente, sorry, Madame la Présidente.
Now, what is going on here?
Nothing, Madame la Présidente. I was just showing my friend Nico some of the cool stuff I've got.
Hi.
Good afternoon, señorita. And just what are your intentions toward my son?
Intentions? We were just talking.
How nice. She has good bone structure, Raoul. Has she any brains?
She's a reporter.
Is she? And what sort of questions has she been asking?
I'm a freelance photojournalist. I do lifestyle features.
For what sort of magazines?
It looked safest to play dumb, with good bone structure. Haya, Lifestyle of the Super Rich and Vainglorious, Envy Magazine,
Excellent! Raoul, you've chosen well for a change.
It was pretty obvious who pulled the strings around here. I hope George was making good use of the time I was buying him.
And then it goes...
Pa 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 pa. And when you were in this band of yours, you used to play that song for 2 hours?
Yeah, we were really famous at our college. Still, ours wasn't as good as the original version.
I have never heard that song before, yet I have no doubt that this must be true.
Hey! Psst! Hey, George!
Dwayne Henderson! Boy, am I ever glad to see you. Get to the American consul and tell him I've been imprisoned without charge.
Get real, George. He was the previous occupant of that cell you're in. We're gonna have to use good old American know-how to get you out of there.
Uh-oh.
That, and this truck full of explosives I've got here.
Dwayne, listen to me. You'll kill all of us.
You're such a naysayer, George. It'll go like clockwork. Negative to negative, it's positive to positive. You gotta get the bare copper wire here. Let me just, damn. Alright, I'll just hook that up. There we go. Okay, just a minute. I've got to get to a safe distance.
Quick, Miguel, hit the mattress.
You have strange customs up north.
Here we go!
Too late.
Are we dead yet?
Horse shit!
What happened to the explosives?
There ain't no explosives. My dumbass supplier must have given me organic fertilizer instead of chemical. All I got here is 400 pounds of lightly fried horse apples.
That's a lovely image, Dwayne. Never mind, I'll think of something. I couldn't reach the noose. I couldn't escape that way. I didn't have the key to the lock. The door was locked. Listen to me, Miguel. You give me that rope and I'll get us out of here. Is there somewhere you can hide from the General?
Of course. My friends have a boat ready to take me upriver. But how are you going to break out of here with just a short piece of rope?
I'm not sure, but I'll think of something.
If your plan doesn't work, will you let me hang myself in peace?
It was the piece of rope which Ronaldo had given to Miguel. I had nothing else to ask him. Hey, Dwayne, I want you to tie this rope to your truck and then drive forward. I'd had no idea whether this was really going to work, but I'd seen it in a black and white Western. Of course, Hopalong was using a horse and Dwayne had a 4-ton truck, but hey, the principle's sound.
Anything you say, George!
Please forgive my mother. She can be a little difficult.
Oh, my feet, Raoul! Propose, you idiot!
Don't mind her. She just wants grandchildren.
Don't think I can't hear you, Raoul. I want the worthy successor, and you're not it. Propose now, or I'll do it for you.
Look, Nico, we haven't known each other very long, but... What the hell was that?
I didn't know what was going on, but Georges had to be involved in it somewhere.
I ain't gonna say a thing, 'cause that sweet sound of falling masonry says it all.
Quick, senor, the river.
Huh? Wait! What about Nico?
Georges, what have you done? You only had to sneak a look at a chart, and it's turned into World War III.
No time to explain. Come on!
Don't move, terrorist scum!
You talking to me, Junior?
Yes, I'm talking to you, fat man, and my name's not Junior.
A word to the wise, Junior. You carry on waving that pea shooter in my face, and the next person who sees it is gonna be your proctologist. Savvy?
General, I am happy to report that I have apprehended the terrorists.
You idiot! Not them! The other American and the French woman! They're the ones!
When I recovered consciousness, I was alone, washed up on the riverbank. My head was aching fiercely, and my mouth tasted like a swamp. But I followed the sound and discovered a tree house in a nearby clearing. That vine rope could be useful. The machine was broken. It would have been a shame to tamper with the elegant bridge. The iron rim of the water wheel would have torn the skin from my fingers if I'd touched it. It seemed to be working just fine. It was a pile of damp leaves. It was heavy. I guess that was intentional. The stones were too heavy to turn by hand.
Hello? Anyone home?
It was a pile of damp leaves. It was the black obsidian stone which had been sent to Nico. One side bore a grotesque image of a dog's head. The other was blank. It was the newspaper clipping referring to the imminent eclipse. I placed the newspaper clipping over the damp leaves. As I held the fetish to the iron rim of the wheel, a shower of sparks cascaded onto the leaves.
Quick, men! Put out that fire! I've got a sick woman up here.
Sorry, Father, but I needed to attract your attention.
Who are you? And what do you want?
My name is Stobart, George Stobart.
I'm Father Hubert. I don't suppose you speak French.
Huh? Why do you want to know that?
I found a young woman with a fever by the river this morning. The poor girl is close to death, and there's nothing I can do for her but pray. I don't understand her, but I think she's speaking French.
Hang on. That must be Nico. What are you doing out here in the jungle?
God's work. Not quite the destination I had in mind when I set out, but, well, you know what they say? Mysterious ways and so on.
You didn't plan to end up here?
No. I was on my way to the miners' camp in the north. I was stuck here when my boat capsized on the river.
That's exactly what happened to me. How long have you been here?
11 years.
That's my girlfriend you've got in your treehouse. What's the matter with her?
She's been bitten by a venomous river snake.
But can't you do something for her? There's a cure, isn't there?
I ran out of penicillin and morphine years ago, but the local people speak of a root which they believe will counteract the poison.
Where can I find this root?
I don't know, but maybe the shaman at the village can tell us.
Will you show me the way to the village?
Me? Oh, but I can't.
Can't? Nico's life depends on it.
You're right. Of course I should, despite my own guilt and shame. But I can't go as a representative of God with a creased collar.
A creased collar? You mean you put your personal attire higher than the life of a sick woman?
I will not go to that village looking anything but my best.
Give me your collar. I'm sure I can find a way to press it.
Thank you, my son. In the meantime, I must contemplate my sermon.
There was obviously more than a creased collar bothering the priest. It was Father Hubert's collar. He wanted me to press it for him. It was a length of rope made of twisted and knotted vines. The vine provided a drive belt to connect the two stones. So there I was, hundreds of miles from civilization, doing the housework for a priest. It's a strange world. The press worked surprisingly well on the collar. Here's your collar, Father.
Thank you, George. You probably think it a little odd of me to make such a fuss.
Oh, no. If I'd been living in the jungle for 11 years, I'd be completely screwy, too.
Screwy? Yes, perhaps I am. Ever since my last visit to that village.
Do you want to tell me what happened at the village?
I forgot my vows. I let myself be overwhelmed by the beauty of this unspoiled paradise, and in a moment of weakness, animal passion reared its rampant head.
You know, you should be writing romantic novels. Did you experience some kind of a physical liaison at the village?
Yes, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I found myself doing the monkey dance.
I've never heard it called that before, and I didn't want to pry any deeper into Hubert's murky past. Now you've got your collar back, will you take me to the village?
I've still not finished my sermon.
Look, Father, I still don't know why you're so reluctant to visit that village, and it's none of my business. Whatever the reason, it can't be more important than saving Nico's life.
You're right. I must be crazy. We must make haste if we're to reach the village before nightfall.
By the time we reached the village, it was sunset.
Hello, boys. Glad to see you're still wearing the underpants, what?
They're the best Christmas present we ever had, Father.
Mine are too tight.
Well, we all have our cross to bear. This is George. He has a request to make. I'm afraid I can't stay. Good luck, George.
That's a relief. I never feel comfortable with him about.
Me neither. These damn pants keep riding right up my butt.
So, what do you want?
My girlfriend has been bitten by a snake.
So? Everyone in my family has been bitten by snakes.
I was bitten by a dormouse once.
She's real sick. I hoped your wise man might have medicine.
Wise man? You must have the wrong village.
Father Hubert said there was a wise man in the village who could help me.
Ooh, he must mean the old man, the shaman.
Are you going to stand by and let my girlfriend die?
Of course not. What do you think we are, savages?
We'll start the preparations for a cremation feast.
I'd like to see the shaman, please.
You can't just go walking in there and demand to speak to the shaman.
Why not?
You have to observe the protocol. The shaman demands tribute.
Tribute? You mean like a gift?
That's right.
The eternal question. What do you give a man who has everything? Give me a clue. What kind of things does your shaman like? Does he have a hobby, a favorite sport?
You insult us. The shaman lives on a higher plane.
Oh, right. Maybe a book would be more suitable. Or a jigsaw puzzle? Don't you just hate choosing presents for people you don't know? This cone could have 1,000 uses.
Yeah? Like what?
A protective helmet?
I don't think so.
Look, I know it's not much, but I want your shaman to have this.
Do you expect him to eat that?
He's an old man, you know. He might choke.
Would your wise man have any use for lipstick?
Not in that color.
Haven't you anything in black?
Of course I don't. This stone is what brought me here.
That's a spirit stone. I wouldn't touch it if I was you.
You're right. It could be cursed.
Here, he'll like these biscuits.
If you say so. He liked the biscuits, especially the black ones. He wants to know if you've any more.
I put the Mayan stone in the empty box. Here, I found some more of those biscuits for the shaman.
I'll give them to him. The shaman wants to talk to you.
I hoped he would. Well, it's been nice to talk to you guys. I had nothing else to talk about. I had nothing else. That woman certainly wasn't the reason I'd come to the village. I couldn't think of any reason to steal the villagers' rock collection. That man wasn't the one I'd come looking for. Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Please, sit down. Welcome, George.
Thanks.
It has long been foretold that a white man would bring the coyote stone to this village.
My girlfriend's been bitten by a snake.
And you want me to heal her?
That's the idea. Can you do it?
I'm not sure. My gums aren't what they used to be.
Listen, my girlfriend's in a coma. Please, old man, give me the root.
What root?
Why is Father Hubert so reluctant to visit the village?
I don't know. He used to come here a lot, but then he just stopped. You'd think he'd want to spend some time with his kids.
Did you say Father Hubert has kids?
3 girls and 5 boys by my reckoning. All conceived in the same week at the Feast of the Monkey Dance.
Father Hubert told me of a root which could cure the bite of the river snake.
There's nothing sacred with these people. That was our secret, known only to members of my tribe.
If that root is my chance of saving Nico's life, then I want it. Fast.
There is time yet, George Stobart. Time to learn why you were called here.
Fine. If I listen to your story, then will you give me the root?
The eel travels far, but still returns to the place of his spawning.
And look, I'm running a tight schedule, so can you skip the riddles?
Many years ago, when the world was young, the great god and king Quetzalcoatl was defeated by trickery and deceit. His enemy Tezcatlipoca took his place as leader and demanded terrible human sacrifices. A group of loyal priests found a way to trap Tezcatlipoca. But his powers were so great, they knew he would not remain trapped forever. His time of incarceration would end with the eclipse, which marked the close of the 5th age. So the priests fashioned 3 obsidian stones which contained the power to seal the mirror for all time. But before the stones could be put in place, they were seized by the invading Spanish.
But how did they trap Tez, the evil god?
They built a pyramid which they told Tezcatlipoca was dedicated to him. At its center, they fashioned a huge mirror of perfectly smooth obsidian. Luring him into the pyramid with praise and flattery, they used sorcery to ensnare him in the mirror.
I don't suppose this would be any use to you.
It sure would. This wax on a stick will change our lives.
What do you want it for?
To decorate our bodies for the monkey dance.
There's an eclipse of the sun due very soon, isn't there?
Correct. The eclipse which marks the ending of the Fifth Age will come before the next full moon.
Less than 2 weeks. I didn't really believe that Tezcatlipoca would return, but I figured Karzak's plans were in some way connected. What happened to the stones?
They were taken by the Spanish to the coastal town that is now called Quaramonte City. Only one stone reached Spain. The other 2 fell into the hands of buccaneers. The Jaguar stone was captured by an English captain, El Draco. The Eagle stone was taken by a pirate called Ketch. The 3rd stone, the Coyote stone, reached Spain safely. That is the stone in your possession.
Tell me more about the Jaguar stone.
Many centuries ago, the port of Quaramonte was entered by a ship flying Spanish colors. The captain, the man known as El Draco, sent soldiers ashore. Only when the soldiers arrested the mayor did the people realize that they were English privateers. The mayor was held hostage while the soldiers looted and plundered the city. Amongst the treasures they stole was the Jaguar stone.
Where is the Jaguar stone now?
I suppose El Draco took it back to his homeland, across the Great Sea.
To England? Tell me more about the Eagle stone.
The stone was loaded onto a galleon with many valuable artifacts plundered by the Spanish. But shortly after leaving harbor, a terrible squall blew up and damaged the ship. The ship was intercepted by a bloodthirsty pirate, Captain Ketch. Ketch made short work of overpowering the crew, stealing the treasure, and sinking the Spanish ship.
Where's the Eagle stone now?
Nobody knows for sure. Ketch retired from piracy and bought an island in the Caribbean.
What do I do when I find the stones?
Bring them here to me and I shall prepare you. The stones must be taken to the heart of the pyramid. Only there can they be used to seal the gate by which Tezcatlipoca will return to this world.
Now do I get the root?
Here, take it. Make haste if you wish to save the girl's life. The hummingbird sings to me of death to come.
Now you're talking in riddles again. Listen, is it okay if I crash here? I've got no chance of finding my way through the jungle in the dark.
You're welcome, but you probably won't get much sleep. Tonight's the night of the monkey dance.
I left the village at dawn and stumbled back through the jungle in a post-party daze. It was just like sneaking back to my parents' house when I was younger. Except Oakland didn't have monkeys or parrots. The stones were too heavy to turn by hand. The cone was ideal as a makeshift container. As the liquid was squeezed from the root, it collected in the cone. Look, Hubert, the antidote.
Well, what are you waiting for? Give it to the girl, quickly.
Nico. Here, drink this.
Oh, George, it's horrible.
Just swallow it down. Okay, try and rest now, darling. You'll need all your strength when we go after the other 2 stones.
Other stones? What other stones? What have you gotten me into now, George Stobart?
Well, the patient is sounding more like her old self already. Nico recovered quickly from her fever. To save time, we decided to split up and look for each stone independently. I traced the pirate Ketch to a remote island in the Caribbean. With the fortune he'd amassed from piracy, he'd retired to a place that was later called Ketch's Landing. I just had to sneak a look at those plans.
Hey, get out of there.
You know, wherever I go, I hear those words. Paris, Syria, Ireland, or Spain. Makes no difference.
What do you think you're doing?
I was trying to show some interest in your project. Hi, is this Ketch's Landing?
Yeah, that's right.
My name's George Stobart. You're a surveyor, right, Mr.
Bronson. And of course I'm a surveyor. Why the hell else would I have a theodolite?
I don't know. Hobby, maybe?
Yeah, right. What brings you here, anyway?
I'm searching for an ancient Mayan artifact.
What is it? Some kind of jewel?
No, it's obsidian. A black stone with supposedly mystic powers.
You're nuts.
This is similar to the stone I'm looking for.
What makes you think you'll find it here?
Because when the stones were stolen in the 17th century...
Hold it! The stones have been lost for 300 years?
Approximately.
And you're hoping to find them again? You're nuts. And why here?
A wise old Indian shaman told me he saw the stones in a vision.
Ha ha. That's rich. Listen, I got work to do, okay?
Catch you later, Bronson. I didn't want a fishing net. I didn't know the first thing about sailing a dinghy.
You want to buy some fish?
Nah, I don't like fish. What's your name?
Rio. It means river. What about you?
George. It means... well, it's just a name. Is it true that Captain Ketch lived around here?
That's right. That's his house up on the hill. It's a museum now.
Yeah? That's exactly what I need. Thanks, kid.
You won't get inside, you know. The old ladies close it down.
What do you know about Captain Ketch?
Just what everybody knows around here. He was a pirate and get himself hung.
No school today?
No, sir.
What about your education?
I can fish, sail, and swim. I've been looking after myself since I was 6, and I'm bilingual.
Aren't you a little overqualified for a beach bum?
Well, you know, there's a lot of competition.
Who are these old ladies you mentioned?
Miss Frost and Miss Mina Ketch.
How come the old ladies closed the museum?
It's Bronson's doing. Him have the plans for redeveloping the museum. They're going to regret it, you know. The man's a crook.
Will you help me get those plans?
I don't want to go nowhere near that man. He promised to draw me when he found the fish I left in his sleeping bag.
Do you know anything about pirate treasure?
Man, that's all stories. There's no such thing as a real pirate treasure.
What do you think of Rio?
Fish boy? If he comes near me again, I'll throttle the little squirt.
Calm down. What's he ever done to you?
Socked me in the back of my skull with some kind of fish, that's what.
Tell me about the two old ladies.
Who? The Ketch sisters. One of them's crazy as a coot, and the other will turn you to stone if you're not careful.
What are you doing with the theodolite?
Surveying the old house. I got great plans for this place.
Oh, yeah?
You bet. Take a look around. What do you see?
Paradise.
I see opportunity. This place is ripe for development.
I like it just the way it is.
And that's where we differ. You see, Mr. Stobart, I'm what you might call a man of vision. I see a great future for Ketch's Landing, and it all starts here, with that house.
Can I take a look at your plans?
No way! What interest would they be to you, anyhow?
I've always had a secret desire to be a surveyor.
You have?
Sure. I mean, you surveyors are just like the great explorers, aren't you? Henry the Navigator, Vasco da Gama, Chris Columbus. Maybe you don't sail uncharted seas or discover new continents, but you're okay in my book.
Horse shit. You just stay away from those plans, you hear?
How do you survey a house like that?
I've put a target reflector on the end of one of the flagpoles up there on the house. I sight on it from various locations through the theodolite, record the angles along the baseline, and triangulate them to give me the exact position of the target. Understand?
Why the end of the flagpole? Wouldn't it have been better on a corner of a wall or something?
Are you a surveyor?
No, my degree's in law.
Then shut up.
Catch you later, Bronson.
Hi, Puss. Wanna play? Hey, cat. Watch where you're putting those claws. I couldn't reach the flagpole, and a bush stopped me from moving the ladder across. The window was locked. The ladder extended easily. It was locked.
The house is closed.
How come?
It is undergoing refurbishment.
Oh, of course. This must be the place Bronson's surveying.
The intention is to prepare the museum for the new century.
The Frederick Ketch Memorial Museum. It would look nice in neon.
A museum for a pirate? There was a stony silence.
Frederick Ketch was emphatically not a pirate. It's precisely this sort of vile misrepresentation that Mr. Bronson is seeking to rebalance.
Oh? How?
Mr. Bronson has kindly agreed to undertake the museum's refurbishment at a very reasonable price. He understands the importance of a sense of history.
Funny. That's not the impression I got of Bronson at all.
He also understands spherical geometry.
Mina?
Well, he does.
Listen, ma'am, I came a long way to visit this place.
If we make an exception in your case, Everyone will want to get in.
Pardon me, but I didn't exactly have to fight my way through the crowds.
You're the second visitor we've had today.
No, I'm sorry, but it's impossible.